Hi everyone! Today we're going to take a look into what a ratio is. So if we take a look down here at this definition, it says that ratios are just a method to compare two values to each other. And that's all a ratio is. Now, there are two ways that we can compare values to each other. We can either do part to part, or we can do part to whole. And to show you how we do this, let's take a look at these pictures right up here. So all of these are the same. We have one box with 4 parts in them. One of the parts is a pink salmon color, and 3 of the parts are a blue color. So we're going to see how we can write these part to part and then part to whole. Now, when writing fractions, there are 3 different ways that we can do that, and so we're going to look through those as well. So first, we're going to look at how we write ratios in fraction format. Well, we've seen fractions before: 1/2, 1/3, 2/7. These are all examples of a ratio where we have our numerator and our denominator as either the part to the part or the part to the whole. So now let's take a look at this box over here. We see 1 pink part and 3 blue parts. So now let's say that I want to write a ratio that's saying the number of pink parts to the number of blue parts. Well, what that 2 represents is where I'm going to distinguish between my separate quantities. So 1 pink part over 3 blue parts. And what this is saying is for every pink part that I have, which for every 1 pink part that I have, I'm going to have 3 blue parts. Now, if I were to do part to whole, I could say, well, if I have 4 categories and 4 parts like I do here, how many of those parts are going to be that pink salmon color? Well, we have a total of 4 parts, so that's our whole. And for every whole, we have 1 pink salmon part. So if I were to write this part to whole for salmon pink colored parts to the whole part, I would say for every whole, we have 1 salmon color. Now, there's a total of 4 parts, so that's going to be my denominator because that's the whole. And there's 1 pink salmonish part for every whole. So for when I have all 4 parts, one of them will be pink or salmon. So now we have written this. This is a part to part. And then here we have our part to whole. So now let's see how we can write, again, our part to parts and our part to wholes with a colon. Well, this is written like such. We have our first part, we write in a colon, and then we have our second quantity. So here, this is my part to part ratio. For every pink part, we have 3 blue parts. And again, if I were to do part to whole, I would do 1 to 4 because there's in total 4 parts. So for every 4 parts, which is the whole, we're going to have 1 pink part. So that's with our colons. And then finally, we have with words. And how I've actually been saying these ratios is how you write these with words. So I could say, if I were to write a part to part ratio, I could say 1 to 3, like this, which basically means for every 1 pink part, we're going to have 3 blue parts. And I could also write this as 1 to 4, which says for every 4 parts, which is our whole, we're going to have 1 pink part. So that's all a ratio is. We're just comparing either parts to an entire entity, to the whole, or we're going to be comparing the different parts in a whole. For more personalized tutoring and to practice online using our practice assessments, make sure to check out Prepaze.com. I'll see you all in my next video.